Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Aftershocks of After Loss. I am Rachel Donnelly with Black Dress Consultants, and tonight I am so excited to have Ash Oliver from, and we're going to get him to join us in just a second. So I hope everybody had an awesome long weekend. And Ash is almost here. And let's see, where is he? Hold on, guys, just 1 second. He's joining us from Australia, so it might take a couple of minutes for him to beam over there. Let's see. Where is he? Let's see. Send request. Okay, guys, he's going to be here any second. I can feel it.
Hello, good morning, good
Hello.
evening.
Yeah, I was about to say, you are definitely going to have the gas this morning. You're on the whole other end of the world, and so I'm going into the brakes mode, and you're going into the gas mode because it's 7 p.m. here in the ATL and 7 a.m. for you. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, though.
Well, my son had an early wake up,
Okay.
and he took my spot in the bed, so I thought that was my cue to get up this morning. Uh,
He knew what an important morning
yes,
you had.
that's right. It was meant to be. Yeah, raining,
Oh,
thunder. Good for him to go back to bed.
oh my God, good for everybody to go to bed except for you.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Well,
How are you?
welcome. I'm doing well. I'm so glad you're here and just wanted to, was just telling everybody that you were going to be here any minute, but I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us more about you.
Yes. So my background uh, in the workforce actually started in the police
Oh,
many
I
many
didn't
years ago.
realize that.
Yeah, so I was in there for 10 years as a detective. That's where my
Okay.
career started, and I spent most of that time investigating a whole range of things, including fraud, organized crime,
Hmm.
homicides. So that was really my first uh, insight into end of life topics and grief. Uh, and, and
That'll
then we moved forward.
definitely throw you into it, won't it?
Yeah, oh,
Baptism by
definitely.
fire.
Yeah, I mean we talk about end of life and of course speech form and eulogies, which we'll get
Hmm.
into. But I think uh, that was a real insight into the end of life, and I work in the funeral industry at the moment, and even still, I mean, there's some of the grief and the end of life issues that you see in the police uh, don't even compare. So
Yeah.
really, really interesting time, and then moved on from there. So moved out of there and moved uh, into Invocare, which is where I also contribute to at the moment, which is a Australia's largest funeral company,
Okay.
and also Speechform, which
Yeah.
produce help people to write speeches without having to be a great speechwriter themselves. So lots of things keeping me busy.
Yes, you do. You've definitely got a lot on your plate, but I appreciate you taking time out of your day, and I'm just so excited to talk about speech form because when you reached out to me or we connected, I was like, this is such an amazing idea. And it's so true that and all of us probably at some point in our life are going to have to give a eulogy or contribute to it, or, help write the obituary, which leads a lot of times to the eulogy.
Yes.
And it can be extremely nerve-wracking. And I remember, like, I can think back to writing my mom's eulogy and just how nerve-wracking it was to think, am I remembering everything that I want to say, and all of the little anecdotes and the quips, and so I love that you have created this platform that will assist in already such a terrible and hard time, but will help set them up for success. So, other than your career in law enforcement and in the funeral business, obviously that was, a lot of inspiration to speech form, but tell me about other inspirations that really led to this.
It first started right back at the end of 2019,
Mm-hmm.
and during that time, I had to write a few speeches myself, and I'd just been through a course called Speechcraft, which is a great course that Toastmasters run.
Mm-hmm. I
And
love Toastmasters. I love it. Such a good
yes,
program.
yes. Our lead speechwriter is a Toastmasters veteran. So she came across, and she happened to be one of the facilitators on the course that I was on,
Mm-hmm.
which was really good. So having gone through that course and having gone through the process of writing those speeches at the time, I realised that there wasn't a lot of great help out there. I guess the two options that I could really find were articles and blogs online,
Mm-hmm.
or you could track down a sort of a one-on-one consultative speechwriter who
Yeah.
could write the speech for you at quite a high cost.
But who has time to do that? If it's like a wedding or a retirement party, like, you have a lot of lead time to prepare for that. But
Yes.
with a death, usually there's not a lot of lead up time, or it's limited.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about a week generally, or something
Yeah.
like that, to pack everyone's life experience and anecdotes, and then try and structure it right, make sure the grammar's right, make sure it flows, make sure
Right.
you read it, you practice it. If you're concerned about how you're going to deliver it, try and
Right.
go through how best to deliver it. Try and do that while you're managing the grief.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and of course, for if you're like most people, you don't write speeches that often at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you might write well, but I suppose by the time you sit down to write that speech, you realise you don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
And you're
So
looking at that word over and over again and saying, is that really how you spell the word "the"? Because your brain is just not working anymore. So.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. I mean, we did a lot of research last year, and it was interesting that although grief was a major contributor towards people's difficulty with eulogy writing, we added maybe a dozen different categories as to what people found difficult. And it was really interesting that all the categories were difficult in some way and relatively equally difficult. Things like we just discussed.
Okay.
So it's pretty
Yeah, that's what I was
clear
going to
that,
ask you. Like, what were the top categories that people said, or, that were really resonated with? This is, over and over again, these are the things that really, really, trip people up.
yes, creative writing was really high. So
Yeah.
thinking about what to include was really high. How to structure it
Mm,
was also quite high. Lots of things. People were worried about the writing themselves, how to actually deliver it. So many different categories, and they all ranked quite high.
yeah.
So an interesting insight. So around the time that I was having to give these speeches, I'd come out of this course. I realised that there wasn't a great option. I realised that the options I found didn't actually talk about how to how to actually give the speech.
Right.
I'd find articles that would say things like, and not to say that some of them aren't great, because there's a lot of great information out there, but I couldn't find anything that was just my one-stop shop, I guess.
Right.
And so that was an inspiration to start looking into it. And interestingly, around that time as well, I was speaking to my father-in-law about it, and his wife passed a few years ago now, and he mentioned that although the funeral itself was handled brilliantly, he really struggled with the eulogy. He wasn't sure where to look. He wasn't quite sure how to write it. And I think the celebrants and the funeral arrangers help. Some help more than others. It depends on the individual. But in this instance, he said that he felt as though he was left to fend for himself a little bit in this space.
So you had your own ideal client and market research right there. And I mean, that's right. Very unfortunate, but that was such a great, that was great market research right there. You're like, here we go. And here are the types of people that we need to really target and craft this platform for. These are our people.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yes. So really, really interesting to tie all that together in a short space of time to come up with the concept. And last year we just spent most of the whole year researching what it would look like and whether this is something people really, really wanted. And so far, all the evidence suggests that this is something that people want and really need. And now a large percentage of, it was up to, I think, 10%, but I think it's more than that now, of our total user base go to our website to look for how to write the eulogy and for support with eulogies. So last month in particular was a big month here in Australia for it. So, and it would be right, because the winter months are the big funeral months here. So it's really, really stepped up. So really, really interesting to see, and hopefully we're helping a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I posted about this on my socials, how I was going to have you on here, and someone was like, oh, this is a linguistics dream come true. This is so amazing and genius. So, I think I read a couple of articles and, press on speech form. So it seems as though everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is genius. And so where, I think you mentioned when we talked, guys were sort of, in the early phases, maybe in the beta testing, might I say, phase of speech form. So, walk me through, like, what would be the process if you had your, a possible client come to you now? Like, what would be the process?
Yeah, so I'd say that we're in a prototype stage. The prototype itself, though, functions very well, and you can produce a great speech from it. You can access a whole range of content. So it functions really, really well. If you go to this site, it depends really what you're looking for. So what we're really focused on is offering a scaled solution to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. So you might come to the site just looking for some information, and you'll find that,
so for, like, the DIYers, it's there.
For the DIYs, yes. So for the DIYs, it's there. Yeah, you can find some information, just to read some articles about how to go about it.
Right.
If you want a little bit more support, you can write the speech or the eulogy itself through our platform on a DIY tool, like you just said. So you can access a few pieces of content per section. So you go through, the process is that you start at the beginning of the speech, and you go through each section of the speech, and you select content or pieces of content throughout, and right at the end you'll get a you'll get the speech sent to you. So within that will be indicators and notes on how best to actually deliver the speech, which is an important element.
So like pauses or, inflection,
yes,
or, things like that.
that's right. Yes. So taking some of that Toastmasters experience and applying it to the speech, which you don't get elsewhere.
Right.
So we felt that was a really important component and something
because
people were
writing
really
it
looking
is
for.
one thing, and then I've seen a lot of times where people have a speech and they're standing there and they're just looking at it and they're not looking up and they're not pausing or stopping. They're just reading monotone, and just all the the words are just flowing and are combining together. And that's such a big component of it, is like you said, the
Yes.
inflection, the pauses, the delivery. So
Yes.
I love that you add that in, because I can see where that would really trip people up.
Yeah, well, at Toastmasters, like it's such an important part of this of what you do there, of public speaking, and of course, if you've gone through those courses, if you've been part of the clubs, then you would understand that. But only so many people have done that. And it's difficult to find that when you go looking through articles on blogs on how to write particular speeches or how to write eulogies. You'd be very lucky to come across that information. But it's such an important component. So it was it was a shock to me when we were first looking at it that this wasn't more more known and more out there, I guess.
Well, but I think that's the whole death care world, is people with everything. What we all do, people are always like, why isn't there more of you? Why aren't there more, other of our colleagues in the death care industry? It's just because people shy away from it. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to lean into that space. So kudos to you for being like, you know what, I'm going to take a tough topic and I'm going to tackle it, and I am just going to address it.
Yeah, well, that's right. I think it's a very I think the experience that I went through right at that early stage was a very niche experience, to have to go through these eulogy discussions, Toastmasters courses, and having to write my own speeches in this very short space of time. I don't know how many people experience that. So perhaps it's not something that's come up in someone's mind before, but I suppose once you get there, I guess making the decision to do something about it is important. And if people didn't do that in the past, then we certainly wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So prototype phase right now, what's next? What's the next phase for speech form?
The next phase would be an app or a web app.
That was going to be one of my next
more
questions.
Sophisticated, has more.
Yeah.
Hopefully I haven't lost.
Are you there?
I lost you there for just a second.
Oh, okay. No, I
features,
was just going to say
so
that was going to be my question. Is there an app? Is there what are all the functionalities on the horizon?
Yeah, so things that we're certainly looking at in the future is an app or some sort of web app that is more sophisticated and makes the user experience just that little bit easier.
Right.
So things that we really want to see is the ability to edit your speech or your eulogy on the website. We want to add more content. We want to highlight the areas to personalize your speech more. One thing I didn't point out earlier is that within the content, some pieces of content are just fixed as they are, but other pieces allow you to personalize. And what the idea is that we would give you a piece of template. We would open and close it for you, and would give you an example story in the middle, and that's your indication to go ahead and personalize that section to make it yours. So we want to do more of that, and hopefully we can look at this soon and launch it, and it will be a nice upgrade to what we already currently have and what we currently offer.
That's awesome. That is great. I love that. And, I know, walk us through sort of the current pricing of SpeechForm.
Yeah. So we have a free version of the platform, which allows you to, excuse me, build your speech with a small amount of content. And for $12.50 Australian, you can upgrade to access all the content. So you can build your speech
all right,
using
you're gonna have to
all
do
the content that we have.
You're gonna have to do the conversion math for me. I don't know.
Oh gosh, depends where our dollar is at the moment. Here we go. I've got it right here. What is it?
Dun dun dun! You're on the spot.
There we go. I know. Here we go. $9.37.
Oh wow, it's cheaper
There
in
we
the
go.
US. Wow, okay. So we've
Yes,
got a deal in the US.
Your dollar has always been performing a bit better than ours, I think.
So for $9.30 US, they can get access to a more elevated level of support
Yes.
and content creation.
Yeah, so I think, well, if we talk about the eulogy specifically, I think it's around about an hour and a half's worth of speaking times, worth of content. So quite a bit, but we want to add to it because there's so many different areas and topics and categories that we want to cover and people would want to cover. So always adding to that is going to be important. So that's our build it yourself platform and pricing. And then for those that want a little bit more support, we offer editing and professional one-on-one support. So
that's like your Cadillac or your upscale Porsche package is one-on-one concierge support for speech writing.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends on where the person's at.
Right.
So if some people may not have time or they just simply do not know what to do, and for whatever reason the platform is not what they want,
right,
then they can go down this path. Excuse me. So so for $60 we will edit an existing speech or a speech that they've already made on the platform.
Got it.
That's not the converted amount. It's less.
Of course.
Yes, and it ranges from there up until $270 to fully write the speech. So that's higher pricing level would be for a long speech.
I think that's a really good deal, honestly, for someone to be able to help to sort of hand that off and outsource that, and that take one more thing off of their plate. Them still have the input and the bones, but you take it and put it into a fully finished product.
Yes, yeah. I think because we have a platform that's relatively automated, we can afford to have a pricing model that is quite affordable in respect to other places that you might find.
Yeah.
So that's good for us and good for everyone else out there.
Yeah. And it's not just for death. This is for more things than death. So tell me, even though this is the Aftershocks of After Loss, we'd love to hear how, I love it how you're diversifying it, and it's not all about death. So it's applicable in other areas.
Yeah, so we do want to cover every major speech that you could think of. We are concentrating on the eulogies and the wedding speeches primarily at the moment, because those are the two most popular speech types. And we're working with various wedding venues, wedding planners, funeral companies to try and help their clients as well. So we're really focused on that at the moment. But there's other speeches, of course, too. There's business speeches. There's different
Yeah.
events like birthdays, acceptance speeches, thank you speeches,
Right.
meetings and
What
retirement
about
speeches, all
totally
sorts.
roasting people? Will you write roast speeches?
Well, we haven't written one yet. We are very mindful of roasting. It is interesting though. When we did research other people's speeches and other various structures, and yeah, we did wonder how far to take the roasting side of things. But
I mean,
each to their own.
exactly. I mean, you might have a really good money making area writing that. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, yeah. I have, yes, in the past, and a friend of mine and I talk about it even to this day, gave a speech once that was perhaps the biggest roast that I could ever think of and I've ever seen. So I've experienced one end and the other, and that karma will come back to bite me at some stage, I think. But yeah, I think.
Oh, I lost you there for a second. Are you there? Okay, there we are. Yep, now we're cooking with gas. Okay, sorry. Don't know what happened there. Um, but you were saying that roast really came back to bite you in the end? There you go. Are you there?
I'm back. Oh no, the connection to satellite
Oh
went
my
down or
gosh. Hey,
something.
listen, this is just hashtag just, our world. So I was
Yes.
giving a webinar the other day and my internet just cut out right in the middle. It was mortifying, but you know what? We just got to pick up and just keep on trucking.
Yes.
Well, see, I don't know where I lost you, but I would want a combo of a eulogy and roast wrapped up into one. So that's what I would want for mine. Is that possible?
Well, it'd be easy to get away with it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, there's nothing I can say. So,
Yes, that's right. Oh, I don't know about all the attendees at the funeral and what they might think, but well, it is interesting though. Some people do want something that's quite funny. Some people do want
oh,
something
yeah.
that's really heartfelt, and capturing all those different, uh, capturing all those different ways of approaching it is is tricky and something that we really want to work on.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think what you'll find on our website is something that's a little more balanced. So it's not too far one way or the other. But I think it is really important. When we started, we talked about types of audiences and what they might want to hear. And I think, well, I
Right.
think you're right though. I think some people do want something that's a little more roast-like and funny, and
Yes.
and some people want
Yeah.
something that is, well, obviously much more serious because of the
Right. Of
of
course.
the circumstances. So
Yes,
yes, maybe we need to
absolutely.
open up a
Yeah.
roast category.
I think you do. And you know who to thank for that, right?
That's
Your
right. We
old
will credit
friend
it for
Rachel.
sure.
Well, I mean, I when my mom died, we always joked that she was going to be late to her own funeral. So we
Yep.
literally had
Yes.
the funeral director bring in her urn halfway through her service because we were like, you know what? This is our one shot. Let's do it. Let's fulfill that prophecy of making her late to her own funeral. So that was
Yep.
a little bit of a roast that she couldn't argue with. So that's, to
Yes.
each his own.
That's right. Yes. Yes.
All right, so question for you. Have you already written your eulogy?
No. Gosh, no. Haven't even thought about that. No, absolutely not. Oh, I would. Ironically, I'd imagine someone would have to go on and use the platform to generate something just for um, you know, just to make it a little bit personal in that sense. But no, gosh, no, I've not even thought about it. I
Well,
wonder
there
if I
you go.
should I?
I mean, why not? I mean, you could show the perfect eulogy from, your own, from the horse's mouth, and just
Yes,
go ahead and have it laid out. So just a thought.
yes.
I
I do
haven't
remember.
either, but I'm just, I'm just asking.
I do remember someone talking about this the other day, and they were thinking, I can't remember what it was. A bit more of a serious conversation. They were about
Yeah.
talking about what you would like to have written in your eulogy and how that affects your current life. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, geez, that is a bit serious, but probably not a bad thought, really, to
Yeah.
take a check on where you're at and what you're doing, for
Exactly.
sure.
It might be an interesting exercise. I think we should all do it.
Yeah.
I think you should
Yes.
have an online webinar. Write your own eulogy with Ash from Speechform. And
That's right. It can be the part of the planning process.
hey, listen, I'm always looking for ways to enhance the services that I provide to my clients. So, just saying, this might be a way for us to do some business together. Just
That's
saying.
right. Well,
All
that's
right.
right.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that. So, Ash Oliver of Speechform, how do people learn more, stay in touch if they're in a situation where they would like to use the world's first eulogy generator, right? Isn't that right?
Correct.
How do they do it?
So you just log on to our website, which is speechform.com.au, and just take a look around. We have a eulogy hub page that you'll find, which is our information page,
Mm-hmm.
and then simply follow the Create My Speech prompts to find yourself either in the eulogy generator itself, or
Mm-hmm.
making a request to have a custom speech made,
Okay.
and we'll go ahead and we'll support you. Otherwise, our email is info@speechform.com.au, and if you have any questions, we will help you out as much as we can.
Awesome. Well, I am going to put all of the deets when I post this to Instagram, and I'll send you the video so you can, post it on the interwebs. But I'm so happy that you and I have connected, and that you took time to get out of your bed this morning on a stormy morning in Australia to join me. Like, thank you. Thank you. I know it is bright and early and probably
No,
cold.
not too bad this morning.
Not
It
too
has
bad.
been freezing, but this morning's all right. I've literally, as we've been going on, I can see just over my shoulder here the sun coming up as we speak.
Oh,
But
wow.
no, it was no. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah, it's been great to chat. Hopefully, I've been able to get a little bit of information out there,
Absolutely.
and yes, of course.
It's a needed service, and a definite need, and something that people may not even know that's out there, and something that I think can really help somebody when they're going through a really tough time. All jokes aside, it's a very nerve-wracking moment in their life, and anything to help, cut down on the work or make it a little bit simpler is a win-win for everybody. So I appreciate you creating the world's first eulogy generator, and maybe that should be in your eulogy right there. I've already written it for you. So
It's not a bad line.
not bad, not bad at all. So well, I hope that you and I can stay in touch, and tackle these this problem and help clients out. And
Yes,
yeah, and I'll add all of your information. But for everybody who's joined us, I have Ash Oliver from Speechform, and you can learn more at speechform.com.au.
perfect. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
and
Ash.
hopefully we all speak soon.
All right, go back to bed.
Well, work for me, but maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight.
All right, good talking with you. Talk with you soon.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.